Konnichiwa. Ohayo gozaimasu. Konbawa. Whatever the case may be, this is your host, Marko Yamashita. Thank you everyone for joining me here tonight, today, this morning, this evening, this afternoon, wherever the case may be. I am glad that you all have shown up here and so we can have a civil conversation regarding everything that I am about to talk about. What is up with you? Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here. Ohayo gozaimasu. Now, just to give, I do need to do two small announcements here before we start. Number one, I have not heard or seen Miki Nico since her last Twitcasting feed. And that was on Sunday. The first one, she was a bit wound up because I think she tried to do either a public one or a bunch of aunties decided that they were all going to throw a bunch of money at her and all get memberships. And the second time, she was a lot more happy and the chat seemed to go a lot better. So, and then she also did tweet a couple of cute things here earlier in the day, so hopefully that that is indicative of how she's doing right now. The second thing, baby, you don't need to yell at me. Sorry, that's my cat. The second thing is what we are going to talk about today is going to be presented in a commentary and opinionated presentation. That does not mean that I will be excluding facts from my presentation. Okay, I will be including facts in my presentation as I present it to you, and I will be giving you an opinionated impression based upon how it reflects of Covercore and Hololive to me as a consumer, as a VTuber, as somebody who really cares about what happens to these girls and guys. You know, pretty soon we're going to have like 10 guys, 10 Holostars. And it's like, okay, we're adding all these people, but we're not fixing the problems that are happening with the company. Okay, so you know, we're gonna examine that, and I'm gonna break it down for you guys exactly why I am doing this stream tonight, and I will break it down to you, and I will show you part by part exactly why it really boils my blood that nothing happens, and Covercore decides, you know, silence is best to get through all this. Okay. Now, and I don't know how many of you guys live in the West, you know, quote unquote West, you know, that is not like Asia, but in the West, we have a saying over here. Silence is consent. And maybe you guys have heard that saying before. It is no different here. So I would encourage you to think about that as I present my case. Now, just real quickly, I would rather be right now. I would rather be talking to you guys about how all the supposed amazing things that came out of Hololive, the HoloFest, and all that stuff, all the little tidbits and everything like that, what has everyone jazzed up and hyped and everything like that. I would really love to be talking to you guys about that right now instead of what I'm talking about. But I can't. I just can't. Besides, there's 100 other channels that have already done that today. So I wanted to make sure that these girls had the opportunity to have their moments before I come along and say, you know what, that's great, but the company you work for has a problem. Because I honestly believe that these girls did do their very best and busted their asses to present what they did the last couple nights. And I'm extremely proud of them. I'm proud of the talent, not proud of the company they represent. Okay? Now again, I do not hate Covercore. I do not hate Hololive. I am not a hater of that company. Okay? What I do hate is what they allow to have happen to these girls. Okay? Now, hello everyone that's coming in. We are just getting started. Okay, so we are just getting started. I will try to keep an eye on the chat as things go. I will tell you right now that there will probably be times where I will not immediately answer what you say. Do not take it as me ignoring you. Take it as me going through my presentation, giving you all the stuff. Because if you ask me a question and I don't answer it, it may be because it's part of the presentation that we're going to get to, okay? Now, my dear friends, the antis struck a critical blow to our talent. And our talent that we hold dear. And I don't honestly think a lot of people recognize that. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that we're told to shut our mouth. We're told to, not say anything, report, block, and ignore. Okay? Now, there is no sense in actually arguing with an anti in midstream. Okay? That is truth. However, just because we are told to, ignore, report, and block, does not mean that we shouldn't be asking, Hololive and Cover, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you protecting these girls a lot better? Why aren't you looking at better safeguards? How come you aren't training them and telling them you need to turn on these things at the very beginning of your streams to minimize the amount of anti-flooding that comes into your channels? Okay? And as much as I hate to admit it, they actually won this round, guys. Okay? I hate to admit this. And it was due to my naivety and the lack of experience as a streamer. I didn't realize this sooner. As many of you know, look, you guys are, I know you guys are going to start asking some questions, okay? And I'm going to ask you to be patient with me as I get through everything, okay? Now, look, as the weekend unfolded, this past weekend unfolded, Hololive was celebrating, a milestone. They were giving us a presentation of what they had, what was new, and everything like that. There was impressive numbers out there that in streams, people were getting view counts that were like in 6 digits and stuff like that. It looked like a roaring success. They were showcasing custom made made clothes, actual clothes that people can actually wear, and you had people like, oh wow, look, Coroni did a flip on stage in her 3D model. There was a lot of like oohs and ahs going on here, right? But when you look at the event closer, there's a large glaring point of contention that, to me, it never occurred to me until I started really starting to look at things, okay? The anti-groups, the haters, and those that have a vested interest in what I call the long game got exactly what they wanted this weekend, okay? They got exactly what they wanted. And let me explain to you. The best way... Let me ask you, this is going to be a rhetorical question because I'm going to give you the answer, okay? But what is the best way to take someone out on the internet? You smear their name, right? You make sure that, when their name is brought up, that the person that hears the name is automatically feel revolted, reviled, and they don't want to hear that name. Okay, now, what did they do to Rusia over the past month? They did exactly that, guys. They did exactly that. Not only that, they started spreading misinformation about her. They started airing out her dirty laundry, bringing up her past. And it takes people a lot longer to combat misinformation than it is to just clear their name. Because not only are you presenting the truth, but then you have to dispel the misinformation. And the worst part of it is, Covercore put a gag on her. So she couldn't even do that. So what happened by this weekend? She couldn't talk. People hated her name. They didn't want to hear nothing about her. And they wanted to act like she didn't exist because if they brought up her name, it would, quote unquote, ruin the festival, right? So what ended up happening? Well, I looked around on Saturday. And, I jumped in and out of a few streams to see what was going on. And I was shocked, guys. I was shocked. There were 40, 50,000 people in all these chats. I saw Russia's name being, we want Russia. We want Russia. Bring her back. Save her channel. I was like, oh my God, it's happening, guys. It's really happening. We are finally rising up. We are finally telling them exactly what we want. But then I stopped and thought about it. I'm like, Yago isn't watching these streams. Achan's not watching these streams. Omega Alpha isn't watching these streams. Who's in these streams that all this stuff is happening? That all this spam is happening? Not one anti-sentiment was being uttered. It was all about Russia. And you know what the people were doing in response? They were telling them to shut up. They were sitting there pointing at them and saying, look at these sorry losers. They're crying over somebody who's already been fired and isn't coming back. And good riddance that she's gone. That's exactly what they were saying. They were gaslighting these people. Gaslighting people, guys. Tens of thousands of people were being gaslighted. You see, through the combination of misinformation strung together with the old narratives of things that were in her past, rumors sprinkled in with jealous boys who probably got rejected by her at some point, because they were old friends of hers, and they tried saying, "Hey girl, I heard you're in Hololive now." And she's like, "Look, I can't talk to you." And they're like, "Wait, whoa. We were tight at one point." And then all of a sudden they got their feelings hurt. And then all of a sudden they share, a couple of screenshots that make it look like, that they were being attacked 3 months after it happened, which just so coincided with the very start of everything that was going on right before the whole courty thing. Guys, you can't make this stuff up, okay? You can't make it up. It's all out there on the internet. You can go look it up. It is all out there. Now, let me say this. I've already talked at length about how Russia's voice talent, Miki Nico, got singled out by the antis. And the gossip sites and speculation, tried to go back 11 years. Dig up old flames. But yet, as soon as you start piecing all the narrative together that they were trying to use as evidence, it all falls apart, because it's like, wait a minute. So according to this narrative, she was dating 3 guys at once, and apparently they all knew each other. So were they all were they all sharing? No, I don't think so. They weren't all sharing. You don't share. Not when you're trying to be like the man like these guys were. But you know why people believe it? Because people don't read past the headline. People don't read past the first couple of paragraphs. Maybe they get to that second or third paragraph. Maybe. But you even look at YouTube analytics. If I don't capture my audience within the first 3 minutes, a lot of times I lose a lot of people. So I have to immediately try to jump into my content as soon as I start streaming. Otherwise, people are going to start walking. That's how short the attention span is. And they automatically believe exactly what they see or what they hear because they're too lazy to go any further. They just want to be spoon-fed. So that's why this stuff persists out there. And that's exactly what the Annies want. Because all the Annies out there know, they know that Hololive fans are trained to automatically just shut up, do what they're told, and they hope that it eventually goes away. So they have all the power, guys. They have all the power. They control the narrative, they control the chats, and they control what happens to the talent, guys. And if you doubt me on this, let me show you something. I am going to show you something here. I'm going to show you something here that will blow your mind. I want you to take a good look at the faces on the screen, guys. Take a good look at the faces on the screen. Every single one of these ladies have been singled out and attacked by antis since 2020. There has been a persistent barrage of anti-activity against Hololive since 2020. It has not stopped. It is a persistent war that you do not see because we're all told this to shut up. But let me tell you something. I have personally gone and looked into every single one of these incidents, okay? Noelle, completely singled out because of her previous life that she still holds on to and does on her spare time. Attacked because of it. There are forums out there, there are bulletin boards that sat there and rejoiced in the fact that they cost her money and memberships to her second life, her second job. And that they were ripping off her content and distributing it for free. Okay? Toa was caught up in a controversy. People heard a man's voice. Oh my God, she might be dating somebody. It might be her boyfriend. She got attacked for that. She got attacked when she was sitting there and she got to play with that championship guy from Apex. Because, you know, he's really sweet on her. I don't even have to explain the next two with Coco and Hachima. Okay? But let me tell you something. Just because they're up there and that there was a date on there, that extended all the way through past the controversy with Marine and Miko. That went for over 6 months, guys. That went closer to 9. 9 straight months of nothing but hate and resentment and toxicity poured at those two girls and every single other Hololive girl there. Okay? Picora 2020 up till today. There is a campaign, guys, to try to prove to everyone out there that Picora is dating some guy that is also a streamer. Because he said he made some comment that he said that, yeah, he was in love with her and that he wanted to date her or something like that. And it's been clipped. It's been seen over 500,000 times. Everyone sat there and like, well, they're dating each other. Gargura. She got caught up in the controversy because some stupid lady out there, you know, oh look, it's a lolly, all the guys, all the lollicons are gonna come out, all the pedophiles are gonna come out. It's like, you know what, Rushia was there long before Gargura. I'm sorry. You know, if the pedophiles were gonna come out, they would have come out to Rushia a long time, you know, before Gargura even showed up. I'm sorry. Let me ask you something, guys. Let me ask you something. I want you to look at these images here. I want you to look at these portraits, okay? And I put 2 of them in the center for a reason. I put Rushia in the center for a reason because she was the number one, you know, money maker that got axed, right? Who was the other Hololive member that got caught up in controversy right before this festival? It was Calliope Mori. Who's the one who just dropped her first album and is doing her first solo live 3D concert coming up? You see where I'm going with this, guys? It is a coordinated attack against these ladies. And it hasn't stopped. It has never stopped. It has persisted and only gotten worse. Because if you look at the trail from the time that they realized that nothing is going to happen to them and they can't be touched, every single one of these ladies that got harassed emboldened them even worse. I mean, you can ban spam bot accounts left and right on YouTube and Google. That's not going to stop anything. The very moment that they saw that all you had to do was rile up the Chinese over Taiwan, and Covercore went and hid, they realized they had it good. They had it golden. All they have to do is be persistent, guys. All they have to do is be persistent in the chats and against these ladies and against these women. If they are persistent enough, Covercore is going to bend. And there's not a damn thing that is being done about it. Nor are there any, nor are the fans even doing anything about it. And you know why? Because we're told to shut our mouth. And what good is that doing, guys? Let's actually, you know what? Before I continue, I forgot to turn on my music. There you go. That's much better. I'm going to say it again, guys. Noelle. She got, you know, they tried to dox her. And they went and harassed her every single platform that she tries to work on. You know, even if it's not Hololive and it's her own thing. Toa, I don't know if she does any other platforms. I haven't seen her doing any other platforms. Luckily, they left the girl alone. But then they realized, just like everyone else realized after she got her new costume, hey, you know what? Toa's actually a girl, and she can be cute when she wants to be. You know, she started attracting attention again, you know? You know the story about Coco. Hachima is always going to be a lightning rod. Picora is like, you know, I mean, she's up there in top 5. Marine is top 5. Miko has her own thing going on. And you know what, even if she isn't top 5 or she's still, I think she's like top 25. You know, Rushia gone. Number 1. Mori's going to be top 10 pretty quick. Gura's making her way up the chart slowly. You know, I'm surprised she isn't top 10, top 15, but she's getting her way up there. And Watame, she's hanging up there in the top 20. But guys, look. This is what the top 10 chart looks like. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to take out every single one of Hololive's top draws. Okay? Now, if you notice, 1 and 2 are already gone. That's Coco and Rushia. The next in line is Picora. And what a shock. She's already been a target, and she's still being targeted. Marine has already been a target. They know that they can get to her, And they know that she gets into these major funks of depression because of all the hate when something happens. How many times has Moraine taken a break? Number one, because of her throat, but and also because of depression, because of everything that's happened to her, all the controversy she found herself in the middle of. All because she made a joke about a BL book. I mean, that's top 10 right there, guys. You move along, and you start getting into top 15. Top 15 down here, that's Watame and that's Gura. Okay? So you start looking at how they're trying to take things out. Guys, look, I want you to look at this picture. Look how many, do you see how many of the same generation that they tried to take out, guys? They tried to take out almost an entire generation of Hololive stars. Marine, Rushia, Picorda, Noel. And you know the sad part, guys? The sad part is they said they looked at Flair and they said, no, we can leave Flair because she is too boring and she's not a draw, so she's not a threat. That was actually in their bulletin boards. I read it with my own eyes. And then all of a sudden they realize, hey, you know what? She may not have the greatest quote unquote personality when she streams games, but the girl can sing. This is how low they think of these girls, guys. And we let them walk all over them. Cover lets them walk all over them. How much mental and psychological anguish have each of these girls suffered over the last 2 years because Cover does nothing? They take a break. They go take a break. They ain't getting paid. They may be getting a base pay from Cover. You know, and hopefully, you know, if they make enough money and they haven't had to reinvest that money in, you know, their merchandise or other things where Cover won't pay for them and they have to do it all themselves, hopefully they have money to live off of. But they do nothing. Mikineko does not, you know what? She is scarred right now with the name of Rushia, okay? And unfortunately, it's a sad thing because she accomplished some great things with that identity. And it's a sad thing that she has been hurt to the point where she does not want to associate with something that she should be damn proud of doing. All the songs that she has released, all the things she has done, all the milestones that she has achieved as the character Rushia, she wants no association with because of the psychological and mental trauma that she's been caused by it. I mean, if you look at this list, guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these girls are on this list because the aunties are trying to prove that they're dating boys. They got Rushia. They got enough people to believe. They tried for an entire year with Picorda. And let me show you this, guys. Let me show you this. We're gonna go back to the chart. We're gonna go back to the gospel chart here of the playboard. All right. This is 2019. Okay. Aqua hit her peak at 2019 with most super chats. Good on her. Very proud of her. This is 2019, so they're just like really starting to get their swing in there. Matsuri is up there at number 9. You start scrolling down. Ayame is at number 15. Picora is at 16. All right, now let's move on to 2020. Boom! All of a sudden, Coco blows up on the stage, right? Look at number 2. Number 2 comes along, swinging hard. It's Rushia. Look at number 3. It's Picora. Look at number 4. It's Marine. Who are the top 4? Who? They took out 2 of these girls. They tried taking out the other 2 girls. They tried taking out the top 4 earners of Hololive. Okay, do it. If we look at 2021, boom, Rushi and Coco are still up there. Lami moved up. Okay, Lami, they haven't been able to find nothing on Lami yet. Thank God. Even though she has she drinks a lot and stuff like that. Fortunately, she usually stays at home. From what I can tell, she usually goes and grabs her sake and then brings it home. She says that she's not a social person to begin with. She doesn't go out much. She just grabs her stuff and comes home, and then she drinks at home. Unfortunately, she drinks alone unless she's streaming, and then she'll drink while she's streaming, which I think is a lot better for her because it's very bad to drink alone. Because that's how you get depressed. And she went through a lot of depression, but thank God she pulled herself out of it. But again, you got Rushia, Coco, you got Picora, Kanata. Thank God Kanata, has been able to keep her head level, and she's been going straight and everything, even with everything with Coco going on. At least that for her, she was able to really, really, really stay strong, and she was able to outwardly project that. Because if she showed any sign of weakness, with her association with Coco, I was worried that these guys were going to go after her, but she was able to stay strong. But then again, you got number 6, you got Marine. Who were they targeting? They've been targeting Marine. They've been targeting Mori Calliope. Nene. I haven't seen anything about Nene, but I've still been looking. Kiara, I know Kiara had some stuff going on, but I think it was all minor. I haven't seen anything major on her. But then again, number 11, Watame. Watame's been targeted. Number 14, Gargura. She's been targeted. They're looking at taking out the top earners of Hololive one by one if they can't get them all at once. And again, I gotta say this, I can't stress this enough. They went after almost the entire Hololive fantasy. That whole generation, they went after them, one after another after another. Well, see, that's the thing, guys. Okay, look. Japanese culture, if it doesn't come down from a superior authority, they act upon what the superior authority says to them. That's the way they function. If it's passed down from an authority figure, they listen to it. They abide by those rules, regardless if they think it's correct or not. They may grumble and complain about it, but they're still going to do it. you know, and that's the thing that's killing them. They're being told, they're being told to tell us block, report, etc., etc. They'll go away. That can't be their only safeguard, guys. That can't be. I mean, there has to be more to that, And the other thing, I mean, how come, I've seen it so many times. You have these aunties that come along, right? We know that the aunties are going to be there. Everyone knows the aunties are going to be there. But yet the streamer, goes an hour and a half before finally turning on, slow-mo. Or even worse, or even better, they finally turn on that, you have to be subscribed for 5 minutes or whatever. But, I mean, this should be common practice when they see that they're being flooded by aunties, guys. There's like no, it's almost like there's no training. There's no, standard of things that they should be doing that to take care of their fan base, to help mold what the fan base is, what they're doing, to guide them in the right direction, so they're protected to a certain extent, the streamer's protected to a certain extent, and you're able to provide an environment where people can actually enjoy the product. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, yeah, you can go on Twitch and you can see, like, when you get to, like, if you look at Nanners or if you look at Iron Mouse or whatever, you see people spamming emotes and all this stuff all the time. But that's common practice there, and they let it go. That's the way they operate, but that's also the way Twitch is. But once you start getting the hate trains, and once you start getting the flutters of the hate and the vitriol and all the toxicity, if the auto mods don't kick in, their actual mods do kick in. They throw on the brakes for that whole thing. They make it subscription only or follower only, or or whatever that they safeguards they decide to use. But the thing of what you got there is that you got the streamer who's taking care of the people that are paying to watch them or giving them those views. You cannot sit here and tell me that these conversations haven't come up somewhere. And you can't tell me that Hololive, that the management Hololive haven't sat there and said, well, what should we do about this? I mean, who's in charge here right now? It seems like, if there's something that the haters and the antis don't like, they get exactly what they want, because all they have to do is be persistent. And they know that all they have to do is terrorize the streamer that they hate, and they'll get what they want. And that's exactly what they're doing to these girls, guys. They're terrorizing them. Every single day, they show up in their streams and they're hating on them. It's like the bully that never quits. It's like the guy or the girl, whatever the case may be for you, that shows up right at your doorstep from the time that you step out, and they're sitting there beating the hell out of you from the time that you leave your door to the time you come home. That's what they're doing to them. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that Noelle was so bothered by this, You could actually hear her in one of her streams. She was so mad and she wanted to say something so badly. She was grinding her teeth on stream and you could hear it in her mic. She finally flipped out and she went after the guy and yelled at him. Then she cut her stream, and then about half an hour later, she came back and apologized that she had her outburst. But she was completely justified because she had put up with that guy for over 2 hours. I mean, dude, what are we doing here? Like I said, our silence is consent to this. Hololive's silence is consent. They're giving these people the green light to do whatever the hell they want. You can't tell me with all the money that they invested in and finally upgrading their technology here to finally get their live 2Ds to be able to do more and finally catch up to all the other companies. You can't tell me that they don't have money and they don't have the ability to reach out and say, YouTube, what more can we do to protect these girls? What more can we do to safeguard our streams? How can we manage our streams more efficiently so our talent is protected? Because I will say this right now, if we keep going the way we are going, pretty soon we're gonna start losing these girls. One by one, we're gonna start losing them. And if we keep losing them at the rate we're losing them, we're going to be losing one every single year to something like this, if not more. There's already a proven track record that we are losing one person a year at least over stuff like this. And then we also have people that end up being mentally and emotionally scarred and have to take extended time off just to try to get their head straight so they can come back. How many have had to go on hiatus because of that? Not because they couldn't handle the fame or the fortune or the glamour or the popularity, but because they were being bullied online to the point where they couldn't take it anymore. I know, to answer that, I know for a fact that Maury has brought that up. Mega Man, Maury has brought that up. Okay. So that is something that I know she has talked about. I don't know how Japanese law works with the U word, or whether or not they even recognize it, but she has brought that up. But I'm sorry guys, but I cannot sit here and pretend that these girls aren't being hurt by these people. I mean, I spent this entire weekend going back and forth between being pissed off to being completely and utterly depressed because I felt so helpless. Okay, I mean, I sat there. I sat here this morning, guys, and when Mel showed up and she did her after stream, and she streamed for 6 hours, and she was talking about how excited she was, and she was just so hyped about how, being able to do her second concert, her second festival. I was crying, but I was mad at the same time, because I'm like, you know what? She shouldn't have had to miss those other 2 concerts. She shouldn't have had to miss her two other festivals because of people that were bullying her and stalking her and spreading rumors about her. I was so mad but at the same time I was so proud of her, because I mean I could hear just how much. I mean, guys. I mean, Mel is is the exact same way as Rushia was, guys. I mean, she puts her heart and soul into this stuff. She spends all of her time when she's not streaming. She's either working or she's practicing, or she's going to recitals, or she's going to rehearsals, or she's back in the dance hall trying to get her moves down. I mean, the girl works her ass off. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, how can people be so rude and so mean to people, to these ladies who put their heart and soul into this? How can Covercore sit there and just say, oh yeah, it's gonna go away eventually? I'm sorry, but it boggles my mind. I cannot sit here and consciously listen to and read people say, Yago is best girl. How can he be the fucking best girl when he's letting these girls be abused? I'm sorry, but no. Just fucking no. Pardon my French. Mel, Hololive Mel. Mel works her ass off. She works her ass off for every single performance that she does. Every single, even for her birthday performances, she worked her ass off just so she could get all the choreography down. Just so she literally went in and she literally pulled muscles in her legs because she felt that she was not doing it good enough. And the other girls had to tell her, you have to stop or you're gonna hurt yourself and miss your own birthday. That's how dedicated she is to this. She always feels like she's the underdog because she's out there, she's cute, she's lovable, she has a great personality, but everyone passes her over. They pass her over for all the other girls, so she always feels second rate. So she works her ass off. I mean, that's what I love about her, guys, is that she constantly tries to improve herself. I mean, all the other girls do the same thing, right? But at the same time, it's like she's not just doing that, but she's also she's the underdog. She's a very cute and pretty underdog. And I love the hell out of her. I love her. I love every single song of her. I'll raise my hand. I got her booba pad. I got her booba mouse pad. I'm using it right now. Okay. I got no shame. I bought that. And it was damn worth the wait. She's a very good singer, guys. And, as much as I want to kind of keep her off to the side and say, you know what, your fan base is good right here, you don't need to have any more because then you can just kind of hang with us. I want her to have that success because I think that she deserves that success. And the excitement and all the energy that I felt from her when she was talking, earlier today, I could feel that she was proud of her accomplishments. And she was so excited about, the fact that she was able to go out there and perform, and she was able to have her moments. Everything that she worked for. But then we got people that keep coming in like these Annies and trying to take these girls down. That's how they're failing. That's how they're failing the industry, guys. That's how they're failing their own company. That's how they're failing their fans. The talent ain't failing them. The talent works their ass off every single day for them. But covercore is so two-dimensional, or two-sided rather. They're so dual-sided that they want to be able to take their slice of that money, but they're just as willing and just as quickly able to cut them off the moment that there's trouble. And it ain't right. It is not right. I have petitioned them. I have sent them 4 different notices requesting some kind of answer about Rushia's channel and about the culture change that needs to happen because of all this stuff that is going on. And I get nothing but silence from them. I may be a nobody, but they have their inquiry thing on their website. Which means somebody has to be getting it on the other side. And then somebody has to be throwing them away. But I am not going to go away. I am going to... If there is one thing that I'm going to do for as long as I have my channel, I will chronicle every single one of these incidents. And then I'll point back to my videos, my earlier videos, and say, I said so right there. I just hope the hell that I'm wrong. And I hope the hell that they are doing something and they're just not saying it out loud. But every indication that I've seen so far shows that they are not. They want to keep everything as is because the plan is working. It's working for their profit margin. I am going to go back in I'm going to look at the chat here real quick. So if I get quiet, I'm just taking a peek. Nosagi talked about how unprofessional cover is compared to Nijensi. Yeah. If you look at the way cover is run and the way things are going with cover compared to how other agencies are being ran, there is a complete 180. I mean, it's night and day. Okay. Now, cover has the more, they have the more visually out there fan base, because they got their foot in the door first, and they were able to blow that door open. But I guarantee you, within 2 years, if the bottom doesn't fall out of the VTuber market before that, in 2 years, cover is going to have stiff competition with at least 2 other agencies out there. I mean, Visojo, they raised over 9 mil just so they can expand into Japan, and they got that money off of fundraising. And that was just off of fundraising, from what I believe what I read. So, I mean, you got them expanding into Japan, and then you got some other agencies that are slowly working their way up. There's a lot of second, you would call second tier agencies that are they're very quiet. They're moving very quietly, but they're slowly getting up to 100,000 fans, 150,000 fans, 200,000 fans. They're very slowly working their way up there too. So you have a lot of what they would call second string tiers working their way up there too. So and the sad part is Hololive went so overboard with trying to corner the market that they didn't keep up with their technology, whereas everyone else's technology has surpassed them, and Hololive is just not trying to catch up to that technology. So it's just a matter of, okay, well, if they got the technology, can they get the popularity up there before Hololive has a chance to actually catch up with them completely? Because I mean, to be able to arm their entire talent group with 3D avatars, with the enhanced new generation, quote unquote Hololive new generation live 2D models, that's all going to take time, money, and I mean, a lot of these other places, a lot of these other talent agencies already have a lot of that stuff already in place. So let's see here. What else? So what can we do about this? See, that's the thing, man. Unless the fan base actually wakes up to the fact that they're being, they're being gaslighted. And honestly, I think it's gonna take another person. And I don't want to say this, but I really think it's going to take another person, like, something happening to, like, to Gura, or something happening to, Picora, to wake people up and say, look, these girls are getting taken out. This is literally a hit. They're doing hits on these girls to take them out. That's what they're doing. And people have to wake up to this, that these aunties are literally doing hits on these girls, and they're taking them out one at a time. And unless people start waking up to that, and unless people start realizing, hey, this is what's happening, we cannot let this continue to happen to our talent. Unless they start saying something, they cannot stay silent on this. They have to start telling Cover. They have to start telling Yago. They have to start telling, I hate to say this, but they have to start telling the talent. Say something. Your fans are asking you to say something. Because right now, the only thing we can do is be just as vocal about what's happening in chat as them. The only thing that we can do is make our petitions, try to get our voices heard through the right channels, through the proper channels. Try not to stoop to their level, but at the same time, we have to be vocal enough to be able to say, look, we have a voice, and we need people to listen to us. We can't let our talent get taken out like this. I know Nanner's backstory, and it's actually quite fascinating. I did a lot of reading on it, and I'm like, wow, she went from that to this. I have mixed feelings about Nanners, but at the same time, she's like, she's so cute, she's cringe, but yet she's so cringe that she can be cute sometimes. I've never been like an actual fan of hers, but I drop in on her streams every once in a while just to see what she's doing. I have a hard time understanding how Cover can justify a lot of these things to their shareholders. I don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, how can you explain to your shareholder we lost our top earner? Then the next year we lost our top earner again. And our top out of our top 5 earners, we've now lost 2 of our top 5 earners. The third one's on hiatus because of her throat. So that just leaves two out of our top 5 earners, and they're actually making revenue for us. How can you justify that? I don't get it. See, that's it. I don't know the laws well, the labor laws in Japan well enough to be able to talk about unionization and all that stuff, because they are technically a Japanese company. So, for all I know, I mean, unions could be illegal over in Japan. I don't know. I would have to look. And the other thing is the culture thing over there is so bad. It's really bad, guys. I don't get how these guys over there. I get these guys sending me messages in Japanese, telling me I'm supposed if I'm a true fan of Rushia, I should stop talking about her, thank her for a job well done, and move on. And it's like, your girl just got taken out, bro. Aren't you mad about it? Don't you want to stand up for her? I mean, she's still being attacked. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to stand up for her? Are you going to talk on her behalf since she can't talk? Or are you just going to cower in the corner? I have at least the balls enough to get live on stream and protect her and defend her honor to people who would rather just cower in the corner and wait for it to storm the pass and hope that everything's still all right when they come out. I mean, the fact of the matter is that if people don't protect her and say something on her behalf, and stand up for her and let her know that people are standing with her and not just cowering in a corner until everything passes and then saying, "Oh, I'm right here." Honestly, when I read some of these messages, I start thinking that a lot of these guys that send me these messages actually have never had a girlfriend at all. And I'm sorry, but I mean, they literally sound like cherry boys, okay? Because a girl would rather have you fight for her honor than cower and say, "Okay, once everything is done, I'll be right back." But that's just me. If I go out and I stand up for her and I end up flat on my face, you know what? I at least tried. I'm not ashamed to try and lose. I would rather try and lose to trying to defend her than not do anything at all. So I suppose Hololive is a private organization, so they can't be unionized, right? I'll tell you what, if they publicly traded stocks, I would buy up as many as I could so I could be a stakeholder, and then I would literally go in there and change the culture, or I would at least be fighting to change the culture there, even if I'm a minority stakeholder. I would do that shit. I would literally do that. I was actually talking to somebody on Twitter about that. It's like, you know what? If I had the money, I would actually do my own VTuber agency and try to run it right, have it run right. That's just me. And if I had the money. But I'm sorry guys, but this is all this all had to come out because of what happened to our girl. And it's a sad moment that we have to talk about this stuff because it continues to exist in our culture and in our fandom, when all we want to do is enjoy the content that they make. Instead, we have to fight to protect the content that they're making, to try to save it from being destroyed, and then trying to get them to listen to us so they are treated better. I mean, I ask this question every single day. Every single time I stream. What the hell is going on? What are we doing, and what are we allowing to happen in our our little corner of the internet? You know. You know what? Sometimes money can solve everything. It's just a matter of what you're trying to solve, and whether or not that whether or not what you're spending that money on you know completely takes care of the problem. I mean, for all we know, guys. I mean, and I kind of thought of this too. I could actually picture some of these girls like, saving up their money and just like stockpiling it. And then once they get enough, they turn around and they like buy part ownership into Hololive, and then they actually like, change it into the direction they want it to go. Just kind of like how like, some of these other girls, they, I mean, they well, some of these other VTubers, and voice talents and everything else, they have part ownership in their various agencies and stuff like that too. Especially after they graduate or retire. I mean, if you look at like AKB48, several of the girls that graduated from there, they turned back around and they're now working on behalf of AKB as as either managers or coaches or what have you. Now that they're quote unquote too old to be part of the group. So are we free to talk about some of the holomems as their other aliases? It feels weird though. Look, here's my stance on that, okay? I know that a lot of the Holomem have aliases that they have other aliases that they work off of in their free time. Okay, you do not have to correlate who is who or who's connected to who. However, if it helps with the conversation, that's fine. But the stipulation in my chat is that you respect the fact that if you go and you look and watch that content, you call them and address them as the name of the person they are streaming as. Okay? If they're named one thing over in Hololive, but they are called something else at a different place, you call them by whatever their name is at that other place. Okay? You got to respect the fact that they are trying to maintain their anonymity, despite the fact that probably 80% of their audience already knows. But respect the streamer. Okay? Respect the talent. And if they want to be called something at Nico Nico, or or they want to be called something over at Twitch, but they want to be called something over at YouTube, that's fine. Okay? But just respect the fact that they have different names. Mafu is part owner of his company, yes. Yeah, if I personally know what you're talking about with Kiara, so that, I mean, to me that's not a big deal. But if it's not something that you feel comfortable talking about, you don't have to disclose it either. So, and I will not. I will tell everyone in chat. It is not your business to pressure anyone into disclosing information they don't feel comfortable with. If you want to know, you can Google it, or you can research it. I mean, there's plenty of information out there. It's very easy to find a lot of this information. Yeah, she has not streamed on YouTube in a while. Well, since 314. 314. But she also seems to also be kind of like going through some stuff as well. There was a tweet that she put out the other day. I can't remember if it was the day before the festival or the day of the festival, but it sounded like she was kind of having a little breakdown because it was that time was there, and she wasn't a part of it, and she it kind of, she felt devastated about it. But I also think that she's also going through a lot of stuff mentally, and again, I believe it has a lot to do with her psychological issues with bipolarism, with manic depression, and just having these highs and lows that she's going through, and the fact that I don't know I don't know how many of you have actually had clinical diagnosed depression. Okay, and I'm not talking about you feel sad you broke up with a girlfriend and you felt sad for a month. Okay, I'm talking like clinical, actual, prolonged depression, that to the point where it's affected you cognitively, where you would brush your teeth and you could not remember 5 minutes later if you brushed your teeth because you were so depressed. Okay, if you've ever been that depressed, or depressed to the point where you leave your house or apartment and you lock the door and you walk outside, and then As soon as you walk outside, you can't remember if you locked your door. Okay? That kind of depression, that's what she's going through right now. I mean, she can't remember if she's taking her own medication. And so she's having to count her medication out just to make sure she's taking her medication. Because she said that she took it, or she thought she took it, but when she counted it out, she has more medication than she should. I mean, that's how depressed she is. Okay? And that's how much anxiety she also has. And the problem that she's having, at least from what I've been able to understand and translate so far, it seems like she's been given medication for anxiety, which is a downer. But the problem of it is that she's taking the downer medication, and as soon as she takes that downer medication to get rid of the anxiety, there's nothing to give her that up again. There's nothing to bring that down back up. So, with the medication that's in her system, if she's not taking something to counteract that the next day, and she's not taking it consistently, she is having these really, really highs and lows. Okay, because what happens is, and this is all speculation on my part, but this is what I've been able to understand of her situation so far. From what it sounds like she is taking a downer. She takes a downer with a medication that brings her anxiety down so she can sleep at night. Because she's constantly, her brain is constantly racing. She has all this anxiety in her, and she's trying to get, trying to calm down. She hasn't been able to sleep, so she takes this anti-anxiety medication to bring her down so she can sleep, right? But in the morning, she should be taking an antidepressant medication to bring her back up. And what that anti-depressant medication should be, it should be either an extended release, or it should be an extended release antidepressant, either in capsule form, or there's also a tablet form, depending on what medication they prescribe her, that's also an extended release. So basically what it does is that it slowly dissolves in her digestive system throughout the day. So by the time it completely dissolves, the entire day has elapsed. That's what, and then if she needs it, she takes her anxiety medication again. It sounds like she's supposed to take it every single day, and it's not just for like it when she has attacks or something. So it sounds like she's supposed to be doing this balance. But if she misses one of those medications, it throws that entire balance off of out of whack. So she either has like an extreme high because of the medication, or she has an extreme low. Well, medications themselves are not inherently bad, especially if the diagnosis is correct. Okay, because manic depression is there's no cure for manic depression. Okay, it's called its old name is bipolar disorder. Okay, but unfortunately, bipolar disorder has been like just completely diluted by the modern culture. So they pretty much have said, okay, well, we're going to call it manic depression, because that's basically what it is. That you have these episodes where you're extremely high, and episodes that you're extremely low. You go in cycles. Okay, that's why they originally called it bipolar disorder, because you had two different extremes. But in her case, bipolar disorder it could be genetic. It can be something that's inherited. It could be something that she's lived with for over since she was a teenager, and it was just not diagnosed until now. Okay, so but with bipolar disorder, medication can help stabilize a person to a point where even if they still have these cycles, they don't hit those lows to the point where they feel like life isn't worth living, and they don't hit those highs where they're so energized they can't sleep. That's the way that but you have to start treating that early, and then you have to start treating that with medication and try to get that balance within the person so they can have that lifestyle. Because the older that you get with bipolar disorder, the harder it is to treat because the symptoms start getting worse. Okay. Yeah, she probably does need one of those apps where take your meds now kind of thing. Yeah. But the thing, I think one of the biggest things for her is that if she's able to get healthy, or at least emotionally and mentally stable, and be able to start putting things together where she can start streaming again in a more consistent fashion, she can be that second person out there that proves that you could be number one in Hololive like she was, and then leave Hololive and still make it good on your own, and that's where she needs to be right now, because the chart that's up on the screen right now, I mean, you start looking at that and you realize that Coco and her were number one, number two. If they prove it, if they can go out there and prove it, that despite all the all the adversity out there, all the hate, all the toxicity, everything that's being thrown at them, if they can survive through all that, and they can show that, hey, look, I'm still standing and I'm doing fine, then I believe that they'll be able to set a case for anyone that has to deal with this stuff. This, if they say, I've had enough. I see what Coco and or what Kason and what Miki Nico are doing, and they're doing just fine. They're making just as much on their own, and they're getting a 15% increase because Cover ain't taking their cut out of it. They're gonna say, you know what? Why am I putting up with this? Hey, Knight, how's it going? Oh, so yeah, you missed the entire presentation, but pretty much what I went through, Knight, and for anyone who had just popped back in here or popped in here for the that missed the initial presentation, I basically went over what's going on with how the antis are controlling. Thank you for the sub. Everyone that has sub, thank you for the subs. I appreciate the subs. You guys are great. I really appreciate you guys just jumping in here and listening to me make my presentation. So basically what I went through is I went through all the information about how the antis are slowly controlling Cover. And it starts off very deviously. I showed everyone, we went back and where are you? We'll go back to this one here. I'm gonna bring back this slide here real quick. I brought back this slide here to show, and this is these are just the talent that I was able to get to. I went through a lot of other talent too, but I didn't get through the entire roster of Hololive. These are the talents that I got through that have had major controversies in the last 2 years. Okay, well, actually, in the last 16 months. And if you look at the talents here, you basically all of these talents have had controversies, and all these talents have had major interactions and um, um, directional attacks from anti hate groups, anti Hololive, anti hate groups, anti everything. And if you look at the talent here, no, you have Noelle. They tried to prove that she had a boyfriend. Toa, they tried to prove she had a boyfriend. Picora, they tried to prove she had a boyfriend. Rushia, of course, everyone knows about Rushia. Mori, they accused her of having a boyfriend with that other streamer. And then Watame. They've been trying to prove that she's currently cohabitating with a guy, and she might even be married. Okay, that's a thing, and they're still trying to prove it. So, I mean, if you look at this, I mean, they know exactly what they're doing, guys. Okay, and the antis out there, they're organized. I'm sorry to say, they are organized. They use everything from BBSs to, Discords to Twitter to everything. I mean, they literally have a network out there that they just work off of. And then they reach out and they branch out and they pass notes, and they pass game plans. There's stuff out there that's public, but then you start trying to once you really start digging, and you start digging and digging and digging, you find out there's quite a lot more out there. And and then you have the people that are just completely dumb, and they're like broadcasting, hey, look, we have a Discord, come join us for all of the unmasking that we're doing of these talents, and all that stuff. But and the weird thing is that all this stuff goes on, and Covercore does nothing about it. I mean, you can report it. You don't know how many times I reported some of these sites to Covercore, and they've done absolutely nothing about it. So I don't know if it's because they can't do anything about it, because there isn't any like official licensed stuff that they're actually posting on their website that that they can lay claim to, or they can't claim it on behalf of the talent, even though they're talking about their talent's real identity. I mean, I just don't know. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. My phone rang. I forgot to turn my phone off. Um, Look, the thing the thing about, all right. So the thing about the whole single girl thing is, um, it sells. Single girls sell, and that's just the bottom line. Okay, if a girl has a boyfriend and they're taken, that automatically cuts out a certain aspect of their marketability. Um, You can't have, let's say, I'm just gonna pick one at random. Let's say Hachima has a boyfriend. Oh, wow. I can only imagine what guy she would be dating. But let's picture Hachima has a boyfriend, all right? And she has a boyfriend. She's been in a relationship with him for 6 years. I'm just throwing out numbers here, but she has a boyfriend. They've been dating for 6 years. Okay, she does a stream, and then she starts saying, "Oh, I love you guys. I love you guys." And she's getting all kind of like trying to be lovey-dovey with them. You're gonna have a certain segment of that group be excited that they're NTRing her, but you're gonna have the majority of them saying, "Look, you're taken. I mean, we know you don't love us that way, so why are you buttering us up?" I mean, let's put it this way though. I mean, I can actually picture Hachima doing that, and she would be like, boyfriend? Well, right now it is NTR. I can just picture her saying that. I don't know why, but I can. And I think she would have her entire chat going nuts, saying that, doing the whole role playing bit. But they sell themselves. Look, if you have look at the entire reaction to what to the whole Rushia thing, okay? You have Rushia, supposedly single girl, being really really sweet and lovey-dovey, telling her chat, telling her dead fans that her fan deads that that she loves them, she wants to be there for them forever. She does very tries to be very intimate with them, to a point. Not like sexually intimate, but intimate with them with her ASMR. You have all that going on, right? And then you get these young boys that are teenagers to into their 20s, and you have a young lady that is being like this with you. You're selling the girl. That's the way it is. I mean, it's just like how how women, they'll ogle, a guy who is like, treating her very proper and tending to every one of her needs and talking to her in a very suave voice. You have women that go crazy over that stuff because you're selling the guy. I mean, it's even. You will have those people who will be like, "Oh, you're taken? Well, in that case, I'm going to show you how a real woman will be," or something like that. Or like in this case, it's like, "Oh, you're taken? Well, hey, you know what? He ain't here right now, so let's, I'll let you say whatever you want to me," kind of thing. You have guys like that, but then you have a larger part of the population who are like, "Well, you're taken. I know that, in my mind and in my fantasy, you're only going to go a certain way, and then I know you're going to leave, once you're done here, you're going to go home to that guy." And that's where their illusion breaks, okay? That's where that whole parasocialism type thing gets shattered. And that's exactly why they do not want these girls to say they're dating somebody. Because if you shatter that illusion and you shatter that fantasy, you lose fans. That's exactly what it is, okay? It's like it's almost like telling somebody that, you know, the Force isn't real and Star Wars isn't really isn't real life. You know, lightsabers and the Force aren't actually something that exists. You know, I mean, some people they live that fandom so much that you tell them something like that, and it just they lose their marbles. It is. That's why every idol out there, if you are an idol, if you are an idol of any form, and I actually had one of my Japanese VTuber friends tell me this. You know, she said, Marco, I know that you enjoy you enjoy talking to me, but remember I am an idol. And I had to tell her, I said, look, I know that you are an idol, and that's why, you know, I answer you in the way I do, and not like a fan, you know, or you know, more as a fan and not like a VTuber. Because if I talk to you like we're if I talk to her like we are of equal status, it gives the illusion that, you know, we have a mutual relationship that is binding on that level. So it can give off the appearance that we are friendly with each other, therefore we might actually be involved. Whereas if I talk to her as a fan, even though I'm a VTuber, because I'm addressing her like a fan, it gives off the perception I am, you know, she's up here as an idol and I'm down here as a fan. It makes no sense when you look at it from the outside, but on the inside, that's the way it has to be. Which is really nuts, because it's like, you know what, we talk to each other, you know, we we're you know, I'm not saying that we're like close or anything like that, but we at least, you know, can tell each other, you know, jokes and stuff like that, you know, and have a little conversation. But we still have to give off this perception that, you know, that we are not like mutually exclusive on the same level, and I have to show that I'm like below her because she is idol and I am just me, even though I'm a VTuber too, you know. Um, let's see here. Sorry, just scrolling back. I really despise those people who choose to dox talent. Yeah, you know, it's really none of our business what their personal lives are. It really isn't. I don't care what Roboco's personal life is. I don't care what Mel's personal life is. All I care about is these girls that are safe. They have their protection they need so they can do their job, and so I can hear them every day. And I don't want them to sit here and try to entertain us while they're suffering on the inside. It really blows my mind. I cannot sit here and stomach the fact that some of these girls go out here every single day and they are dealing with or having to put up with all these guys or all these people that are trying to ruin their career, and they're supposed to just come out here and smile. I mean, it's easier because they have a model to do it for them. But there are days where, you know, Marine sits there and she goes, guys, I just don't want to stream today. I just can't, you know, and you know, and she is so depressed over, you know, people just being so mean to her, you know, and fortunately the chat can, you know, usually help pick her up and cheer her up and everything like that. but man, there are days where I mean, I feel for the girl because it's like, man, I can only imagine. I mean, I get these. I haven't had any aunties come after me since my little rant gorilla stream last week, but I can only imagine what they've gone through. I mean, I can certainly imagine what it would be like to go through that. And for me, for me, I don't, despite the fact that it looks that way, I don't live off social media, and I can just kind of turn it off whenever I want to, and not pay it any mind. And the only reason why I use it is because I want to make sure I can, communicate with people. But other than that, I mean, these girls live off of social media, and part of their persona is, projected through social media. And for some of these ladies that, have multiple identities, and they do different streams with different identities, that's their life. That's their life's work. And for these guys just to randomly come after them because they don't like them for some reason. I mean, there were guys literally trying to like claim victory over our K Cup Knight, even though she's actually an L. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, really, guys? Really? I mean, you're really, is that what it's come to now? That you're jealous that she might have a guy that gets to enjoy those, and you can't. So you're trying to ruin her. God, that's pathetic. Just pathetic. Okay. Just donate big time. That's the thing. You can only donate so much before you're broke. Then you'll be the broke gang. I don't know how many of you in chat know her alternate personality, but if you ever do find out, you will be blessed. But I'm not going to point you the way. But you will be blessed. I'll leave it at that. And if there are any women that are still in the audience, I apologize for the male talk. However, those are L's that they're not losers. They are Lord of the Opis. And I'll leave it at that. I will not confirm or deny whether or not I have membership to that, but I will just subtly nod my head and keep reading the comments. That Nintendo Wave got an upgrade. Yeah, she did. The guy is smart. Oh no, Red Star's still in chat. Red Star, no! You did not hear that, Red Star. You did not hear me just talk about that. I apologize for that. I hope. Okay. I just hope I didn't want to offend you. I knew you might still have been in chat, but I appreciate that you don't get offended from that. I don't know if you can appreciate that we are ogling over our night here, but yeah, it's kind of like doing the over the hill and through the woods to grandmother's house we go, We got to go through over Noel's hills, and then through the woods that Picora lives in to get to Marine's house. You know, because she's grandma. Okay. Uh. uh. Hey, I appreciate that there's women in chat too, you know, and I don't want to offend you guys if something, you know, if there's talk that you know, makes you feel uncomfortable at any point, please just let us know, and we can stop it, because I don't want it to be a predominantly male chat if there are females in the audience, especially if you have your own opinion on it, because there's a lot of times where if you get a female perspective of things, it really brings in what these ladies are going through into context. Whereas if you only have that male opinion, a lot of times, you know, guys like us will say we just don't get why they're acting this way or doing this or saying that kind of thing. And it's kind of like, you know, I don't know if you've ever had to do this before, but it's kind of like how I was explaining, you know, how like women, at least when I was growing up, you know, there were times where, you know, a guy tried to act smooth, and they're trying to ask a girl out, and the girl, you know, the girl don't want to hurt the guy's feelings, so they tell a little white lie, and they say that they're dating somebody even though they're not, you know, just to kind of like try to let them down easy instead of just going no, you know, they're like, I'm sorry, I'm seeing somebody. You know, it just try to let them down easy. You know, it's like, you know what, you know, I'm taking it right now, but I appreciate the gesture type thing, right? But then, you know, you tell that lie, and then if the guy like, you know, persists on that lie, then you have to end up making that lie bigger and bigger and bigger, because you're trying to like redirect him, but he keeps persisting, especially if he ends up being a jerk. You know, and so that lie, that little white lie turns into a big lie, and then that big lie turns into something bigger, and then it becomes into a problem, you know. And I was trying to explain that to people, and some people got it, but a lot of people didn't, and they're like, why would a girl do that? And it's like, yo, have you ever not like been asked out before by somebody you just did not want to hurt their feelings, you know? And I mean, it's like, I've had women do that, and it's like, look, I'm dating somebody. That was actually at the time, but I'm dating somebody. I'm not going to leave them for you, because the fact that you're coming up to me and asking me to leave her for you means that you don't value relationships the way I do, you know? And that pissed her off. But, you know, I wouldn't sit there and lie to somebody and say, no, I got a girlfriend when I don't. You know, I'd be like, hey, look, I'm flattered. I'm not sure if I want to do this or not, but let me think about it. You know, that would be my answer. But, you know, I've had a lot of women that, you know, they've either told me, or I've had my friends, they come up and say, yo, did you know someone's going out with somebody? You know, and I'm like, really? You know, and you look into it a little bit, you start asking around, and of course they're not dating nobody, you know, and it's like, hey, they're lying to you. Why are they lying to you? And then it becomes a problem, you know? So, Yo-kun, thank you for joining. How's it going? We are just, so basically we're kind of like, after talking about, you know, we've gone through all of like the big information. Basically what I was talking about here earlier, before you joined, if you see on the screen here, you know, we have several of the Hololive girls up here on the screen. Every single one of these girls have had major incidents over the past 16 months, you know, that involved aunties. All right, they all involved aunties, and every single one of them, the aunties have had like complete control over the entire situation, from the narrative to what was being said to what was happening, even so far as affecting like the actual talent themselves and how they responded. And we were basically talking about how, not just the talent being affected by this and whether or not they were able to stream or not stream. Some of them are no longer with Hololive now. Some of them had to take hiatus because of it. But then we also were talking about the emotional and mental repercussions about what they have to deal with the fallout of everything, and there's been some of these girls are still being harassed. Some of these are still getting harassed even to this day. Keisan and Rushia, or now Miki Nico, they're still being harassed. They're not even with Hololive anymore, and they're still being harassed. Picora, there's still an active attempt. There's still an active, I'm not going to call it like a mission or a target or whatever, but there's still active people trying to prove that she's dating this other streamer. And they're literally like vodding every single thing that he says and trying to catch everything she says and everything he says, and they're trying to like make connections so they can finally prove that they're dating each other, because they're trying to do the exact same to Picora what they did to Rushia. Okay, if you look at the list up here, like everyone except for Flair out of that one generation has been targeted. And we've been talking about how this has been a constant thing since 2020, and now it's 2022, and it's been a constant barrage that they have been selecting individual people, and as soon as they have something to exploit on those people, they automatically jump on it, try to make a huge controversy out of it so they can single them out. Hero 17, thank you for the sub. You know what? If the cancel culture finally gets canceled, that's fine by me. I really wish it would get canceled. But the fact of the matter is, and this is what pisses me off the most, guys, okay? We listened to all this stuff, it's, at least us in the West, okay? We listened to all this stuff during 2020 and 2021 about the whole Me Too movement. All these women were coming out saying that they were sexually abused or sexually exploited, or they were sexually done, whatever, in Hollywood, right? And that also gave a voice to all the women out there who were also just regularly abused by people. These girls are getting abused, and their management does nothing. It does nothing. They get verbally and psychologically abused. They're getting cyberbullied. They're getting doxxed. Some of them are getting stalked. Some of them are, they're actively trying to find out where they live so they can like actually tail them. I mean, there's stuff that is just going on that you would just not believe. There are people that have gone so far as to take their pictures, their old pictures, and try to reverse image search it to see where those pictures were taken so they could try to track down where they live. I mean, what do these guys not have a life? I'm sorry, but do these guys not have a life? Do you hate somebody so bad? These guys spend more energy hating on these girls than most fans do, showing them love. It's almost like they love to hate him, but they hate to love him. Hey, where'd my music go? Oh, that's why I didn't put it on repeat. It's kind of unfair to just throw all of cover as this is a general problem for fans. It is a general problem for fans. However, cover's response to this is the key. Okay, because what are the fans told to do? The fans are told to shut up, report them, block them, and ignore them. And of course, Covercore heavily targets the Japanese audience. So that's what they do. And you got to remember, when you have an authority figure telling you something in Japan, the general population is it has a tendency to abide by whatever that person says. Yeah, unless they're told otherwise. And that's why you have this complacency of people saying, well, there's nothing we can do about it. It's, and it's, well, why can't we do it? How come nothing can be done about it? Well, it's because Covercore isn't going to do anything for that. Well, why aren't they going to do anything for that? Have we not said that something needs to be done? And they're like, well, even if we did, they wouldn't have a response. And that's part of the problem too. Like you said, that is the fans' obligation to tell Covercore, just like what we have been doing for the last month now, when there's something that's not right, that needs to be corrected. The problem of it is that you have so many people out there that are so complacent and they don't want to either get involved or they just want to duck their heads and cover their ears and shut their eyes because that's what cover tells them to do, and they just want it to be over with. And if they do that long enough, it will finally go away until the next thing comes up. And that's and that's just it. The cycle will never ever get better or end. And we're going to lose on average one big star out of Hololive a year at this rate. Some celebrities do get hated for dating. Yes. It is not nearly as toxic as it is in the West as it is in the East. But even then, they do. There's still a lot of toxicity with that stuff in like Japan and Korea and stuff, because again, it goes back to a marketing value. It is easier to market a young girl or guy as being single and available, and he or she can go up on stage and sing about love, and people will swoon over it because it's a single girl saying oh, my lonely heart, or a single guy sitting there saying you're the only one for me, and having girls scream over him. I mean, that's what sells. That's the market. That's what they're trying to aim for. That's what they're trying to get, And if a guy like Mafu is like literally like in a relationship and he admits to it, he immediately cuts into his own profit margin, and that immediately cuts halves, if not knocks off 25% of his market value. That's why you see a lot of J-pop singers they don't get married until their late 30s. And then they finally, and then that's when it comes out that, they've been dating this, somebody for 10 years. But by the time that they're, in their late 30s, and they retire or they start having a family, their career, that part of their career is already behind them. So people care less about it. That's why, like, some of the bigger J-pop singers that have been doing like Japanese anime openings and endings, or even voice actors, they are just now getting married and having kids, and they're like 37, 38. Mitsuki is 41, and she had her first kid, but she had to like hide the fact that she was in a relationship all the way up until she finally got married. At age, I think, like 39 or 40, but she had been dating the guy, or seeing the guy at least, for a while. Yeah, and it's not even 3 strikes and you're out. Some of them, they get 1 strike and that's it. Boom, you're gone. I mean, there was one girl, and that was in AKB, and no, she was in SKE. She was in SKE 48, and she had a boyfriend. She started dating somebody secretly, and he talked her into letting him film them doing it with his phone, and then of course he went out and shared it, because he was proud that he was nailing an idol, and she immediately got demoted from SKE down to like HKT because of that. I mean, she, and they told her, be happy that you're still part of a group. And it's like, really? You too, Marko. Get a girlfriend or wife? Hell no. Hell no. No offense to women. No offense. I love women to death. Don't get me wrong. I love women to death. I ain't getting married. Every single relationship I have been in has been worse than the drama that Hololive is going through. Okay, I am not getting married. I'm not, and every woman I ever have gotten involved with, it just costs me more and more money. No, I'm fine where I'm at. Maybe like one day when I'm like 80, I'll get married, so I can just say, so I can say on my tombstone that I did get married. But I'm still gonna like have a picture of whoever my waifu is on my grave, on my tombstone before that. So no. Man, relationships are hard, man. You don't want, I mean, people always say, yeah, you're of that age. You should get married. You should find a wife and settle down. I'm like, relationships are hard, and if you don't find the right person that is willing to spend, and give as much time as you're willing to put into that relationship, what's the point of getting married if you're both not going to put the time and effort into it? I mean, just do it. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to be in a loveless, relationship, much less a marriage. Like I said, I've already been down that road twice. Well, I'm not married, but I have been engaged once, and let's just say that I spent a lot of money on a wedding that never happened, and then no. No. You know, there's a part of me that wants that kind of wants to have a little rugrat running around, but then I look at the way the world is right now, and I look at it and I go, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to raise a kid in this world. This world's messed up. You know, I mean, yeah, we got we got things like, you know, we got things like Hololive now, and you know, and we're finally starting to break those barriers and like virtual reality and stuff like that. But no. Now, not you know, I'm not gonna simp on anybody. Okay, well, I'm not gonna simp too hard, anyways. But like, if Roboco or Mel or even Marine, if one of those three came up to me and they said, Marko, I know we just met, but let's get married, I'd be like, okay. But it would have to be one of those three, and it would have to be like, you know, like serious. It couldn't be like, you know, it couldn't be like, you know, let's do it just to like do it and then like immediately divorce or something like that. But hey, you know, I mean, the I could not say no to any of those three. Okay, I love those three in Hololive, and I know I keep teasing my top 10, but in Hololive, those three are like up there in my top like 5. Coroni has see, the thing about I know we're segueing a lot way out of this, but you know, that's fine too. Coroni. So here's the thing with Coroni, and this is just my opinion. Okay, you guys can have any opinion you want on her, and you guys are more than welcome to have it. Okay, but Coroni, when she first started, and I watched her for like the first month, I kept getting this vibe that made me feel like she would be the type that is like completely 100% S, and she would expect all of her men to be M. And I mean men, not man, men. Cause I can just picture her, you know, she has like this she has this kind of like commanding type of way of speaking that just it always feels to me, it always feels like she's slightly talking down to you. I mean, it does. I mean, she always kind of like sounds like she's talking down to you, like, you know, and it's like it's slightly sarcastic, but still tries to answer the question, but does so in the way that allows her to keep control of the situation. And I think it's really brilliant the way she talks, because she's able to do all three of those things at the same time, which makes her, to me, makes her a very complicated person to listen to and to understand. Because she's she's commanding, but yet she's extremely like reserved with making a decision. But she's just sarcastic enough to give you a slight bite into whatever you said. Now see, Sana on the other hand, I just can't. I cannot read Sana at all. I cannot read her. I mean, she maybe she's just too big for me. You know, she's too big brain for me or something. But I just cannot read her. I can never quite nail down how she thinks. I mean, because she just she seems to be so like. She literally seems to be everywhere and in nowhere at the same time when she talks. If Karuni was a guy, I mean, she would be like the total. She would be like that. That epitome of the male protagonist that has that very type of attitude. You know, that type of attitude that just, you know, like Squall, or like, you know, like who was the other guy? Not so much Cloud, but kind of like Squall, but only with more personality. Holler, thank you for stopping in, man. I appreciate you being here. You are here for almost every stream, and I cannot thank you enough for the support. Thank you for being here. And if anyone else that is taking off, thank you for being here. I know we've lost a few people along the way, but gained some people along the way. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, if you're leaving, have a good night. Yeah, I took it upon myself to like try to compile all the Ring Fit adventures into a single playlist. So if you look on my channel, my channel has an ultimate Ring Fit playlist for Hololive as a whole. I've tried to like add every single stream that's still available out there on that. So if you ever get feel the urge to like, you know, look up one of them, you know, I'm sure it's on that list. It's kind of funny in a way when you when I think the one I found most hilarious was listening to Lamy trying to jog and talk at the same time. For some reason, just her voice, the way she talks, and she's trying to run at the same time and you know, get the coins and everything else like that. I mean, she just sounds so like adorable, but yet she's so pitiful at the same time because she's struggling. And then of course you have Mona coming along, and she does Ring Fit, and she's like, "Oh, I can't do this because my boobs keep slapping me." Like, oh my God, Mona. Oh, those gawks are just crazy. I could not believe it when I first heard her say that. I was like, what did she just do? Yeah, I saw that too. That was pretty good. I think there was a lot of there were a lot of decent things that came out of you know, the Hololive Festival, and you know, for the talent, I'm very happy and proud that they have been able to take some of those things that were memes and actually translate them into, you know, things that were happening, you know, there on the floor. You know, you have the mascots, you know, and the small Watson, and then of course there were a lot of pictures of various outfits that were actually made, that weren't just cosplay, which were really cool. I thought that was very amazing. Um, you know, you don't usually find that kind of dedication, much less, someone trying to replicate that kind of thing and put it into an actual piece of clothing and outfit. Isn't Gura working on animal related, or is she just trolling? I don't know with Gura anymore. And that's the thing that I can, I'll be honest with you. There was a point where I just kind of, me and Gura, I just kind of like stopped following her. And the moment that made me stop following her, and it's really sad. Okay, and this is one of the big things that really made me go off and consider doing streams like this. Is I made one single comment, guys, on Gura, and the comment was, when she released that video where she like, she had she palette swapped into red. I made a comment, and I said that I didn't like the video, or I didn't like the song, because it seems like she's crying for help. There was a lot of to me, there was like a lot of message in there of, like, for her, she was struggling between trying to be the perfect idol, and then trying to, wanting to be herself. And that, the two of them were, she was trying to get the two of them to coexist, but the fact that those two, were trying to coexist was tearing her apart inside. And I said, it seems like, she's in conflict with herself. Reflect. Yeah, reflect. The song itself. Well, yeah, say so and yabai, but then you also, if you look at the words of the song, and if you look at the lyrics, and you look at who she is, and look at her career with Hololive, and then her past life, she was very much, she went from being, yabai and a little bit crazy, to trying to be the perfect idol, and be the perfect streamer, be very proper and everything else. But you always saw that there was like Amelia Watson, all that's, when she was with Amelia all the time, all that stuff would start, slipping out. And then, as she started, getting more relaxed in Hololive, she started, kind of realizing that she had projected one image of herself out there of being proper and being, the proper streamer, but she wanted to be herself. The reflection that she was seeing was not her, and not the person she wanted to be, right? And so that's what I said in my comment, right? And not 24 hours after I made that comment, guys, my YouTube channel was nuked. I jumped on YouTube to see what was going on, and my entire account was permanently banned. And when I emailed YouTube, they said that there had been multiple reports of people reporting my channel as having explicit sexual content on my channel. And so I asked YouTube, I said, did you check my channel? Did you look to see what they were flagging? Because there is not a damn thing on my channel that is sexually explicit. And what happened was all the Gura fans, all the Gargura fans did not appreciate my comment. So they went and they literally mass reported my channel as retaliation for my comment. Yeah, my channel, the channel that you're watching me on right now, was originally banned by YouTube for sexually explicit content. And I have not deleted a single video off of my channel, guys. So any video that is on my channel right now is the exact same video that has always been there and was on there when my channel was reported for sexually explicit content. And they were all Gargour fans. They literally canceled me because I made one comment about Gura. There is maybe 2 videos, okay? There are 2 videos on there may be one maybe 2 videos on my channel, okay? That the streamer, she does like some R18 ASMR that is not on YouTube, but she does not do it on YouTube. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with the clip either. I mean, it's not flagged. And it's never been flagged for as long as it's been up. It was a comment I made on a video. It was a comment that it was a comment that I made on a video. I think she was doing like after chat of her Reflect song. And I was like, it took me about 4 days to get my channel back. You know, and if I had lost my channel, I mean, at that time, it didn't matter much because I didn't have much of a following anyways. And I hadn't even streamed yet, but I was putting clips up every once in a while just so I can like try to get a channel going and having a little bit of activity on my channel before I started putting live streams up. But yeah, I mean, I got canceled hard for one comment I made about Gura. After that, I said, nah, I canceled my membership and I do not watch her. You know, I mean, if that's the way her fan base is, I don't want any part of it. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I think Gura is very entertaining. I love watching clips of her, but I will never watch another stream of her live because of the way her fan base is. And it's sad. Because I had started she was one of the first streamers I had ever watched of Hololive. The first one I ever watched was Krone, and then it was Krone and Mori, and then after Mori it was Gura. I mean that's the way it was. And then after that I just fell in love with Hololive and I didn't stop watching. And I know that you can't blame Gura for it, but just the fact that I cannot be in that same... I mean, I could put her stream on and, like, not even interact with the chat, which would be one thing. But, you know, I'm the type that, you know, at least likes to interact. And, you know, if you ever see me in, like, Roboco stream... or Mel stream, not so much Marine, because Marine has like 45,000 people watching her at the same time. But you know, if you ever see me in one of those two chats, you know, I'll I'll say some stuff in those chats. If you see me in another smaller streamer, not affiliated with Hololive, I like talking with them, trying to interact with them, give them some engagement, especially if they're a smaller streamer. But I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, they really soured my my passion for wanting to have any involvement with the fan base. The easiest thing to do, Wiley, is just to upload a bunch of clips to your YouTube channel, and then go and then just make a comment like that, either on one of her streams, or maybe a Gargura clip or something like that. I don't know. I don't, right now, with me being a streamer, I kind of want to avoid causing trouble like that. So I have to actually be careful about what I say now, which is, a kind of, it puts a damper on what I have to say, but then it also makes me pause and think about what I'm saying before I say it. And a lot of times I'll, instead of writing something out of feeling, I'll think about what I was about to say and think, is this really worth it, type thing. And ironically enough, a lot of times, if something like that makes me think, it just gives me content to talk about on my stream. So to me, it's just easier to use that as content than make some comment on a video. But yeah, I mean, that like you said, the toxicity of those fandoms are just kind of so out there that you're not just fighting a war against antis, but you're also fighting the toxicity of fan bases as well, which is really sad. I mean, yeah, Gura's fan base, she has her subscription base is so huge, but it really boggles my mind that for someone that has such a huge subscription base, that her super chat revenue is just so low compared to everyone else. Nico, thank you for stopping in. I'm actually keeping an eye on the clock too, because I have to get up in the morning too. So thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you being here as well. Thank you for being part of the chat. If anyone's leaving, have a great day, great night, great afternoon. I appreciate your time and your input, and interacting with the other people here in chat. I really do. Thank you for being here. If you're just stopping in, we're kind of doing like a post chat type deal, kind of just touching base on a lot of other things that have been going on, besides the how the antis are controlling things with their antics and everything. If you're coming in, you see the graphic up on the screen. All the Hololive members, past and present, that are listed here on the screen. These are just the ones I have personally researched and confirmed that have had active attacks against them, and some of them still have active attacks that are being talked about. So, kind of word of warning, if you're one of their fans, if you see something pop up, it could be a warning sign that they're trying to do something. Yeah, stay safe, Nico. Thank you for being here. I'm glad though. So with Noelle, here's what happened. She had two different incidents that happened And I can provide a little bit of input regarding Noel's situation. So, there was an incident that happened where the first incident that happened was that she was right in the middle of doing the stream, and she was supposedly in her soundproof room when the door opened. Okay, and everyone, people said that they could hear the door open and someone walking in, and she immediately muted her ASMR mic. Okay, and of course ASMR mics are extremely sensitive, so it picked up everything, right? And then about a minute later, she came back and she said, no, that was nobody. That was just noise from outside. But of course, she was supposedly in this soundproof room that she has, right? So people like try to dissect that, and then they came out empty. And then the second time, she was streaming ASMR, and people said that they heard what they believed was a male voice coughing during the stream. Okay, and so that happened the second time, and then it came back around the third time, and so they were like really, really trying to like push this narrative. Now, the thing of it is that Noelle has had in the past, especially with her alternate identity, she has had in the past a photographer that came in and helped her do photography of some of the things that she did. And she also had somebody that came in that helped her with some of the initial setup and some of the filming when she would do ASMR streams, particularly because there was like one thing that she did where she did it was a cooking stream that was inside her soundproof room, but she had like the portable thing all set up and stuff like that, and there was somebody behind the camera, and you could tell that it was a guy. Okay. Doesn't mean that they were dating, doesn't mean that it was her boyfriend or anything like that. She had a photographer there that was helping her. It's not a secret. It has been, well, it was in her what's called time shifted videos that are no longer available. Because that when she ups them to certain sites, they're only available for a limited time before they go into like a price bin, and you have to pay full price for that one video. But if you track down those videos, you can actually hear a male voice when she's talking to him while she's cooking. Okay, and it's not that it's her boyfriend or anything. He's just sitting there, helping her film what she's doing, because trying to cook, what she was trying to cook and film at the same time while doing ASMR is extremely complicated. That's just how it is, So, yeah, they tried to make this whole, and see, this is the other thing, guys. Okay. This is the other thing. See, when this whole thing like came about, it again shattered so many people's fantasy of Noelle. Okay. And what I mean by that is it completely destroyed their whole championing of her and Flair having a female relationship. Okay, when this rumor started going around back then, it just shattered their entire perception of of their fantasy, because Noel and Flair, and now it's Corone and Okayu. I mean, they're female relationship. There's look, they're a couple. They're a couple. And it shattered that whole reality that they had tried to build, this whole fantasy. I mean, they call each other their wives and stuff like that, on stream and stuff like that. But I mean, there's rumors out there that Flair is seeing a guy. I didn't put her up here because I mean, they're not actively attacking her or trying to dig that up and plaster it everywhere. But there have been rumblings in the anti area that she had been, she has or had been seeing a guy, which again blows up their whole narrative of them having a female relationship, and they don't want to hear that. So of course they close their ear, they cover their ears and close their eyes and wait for it to pass so they can go back to well, Flair and Noel are they're look at them, they're this and that, and it's like, come on. I mean, if she's dating a guy or she's dating Flair, it doesn't matter. If she's happy and she's able to live a peaceful life and still entertain us, that's all that matters. I mean, who cares if she's seeing a guy or a girl? It doesn't matter. It's still Noelle. She's still our Shotokan that chases little boys around in games. I mean, that's just the way she is. No, but yeah, and that's just it. And that's what the aunties were trying to do, guys. They were trying to rile her up, and they were trying to cause her trouble because they knew they know exactly how to trigger these girls. Okay, I mean, they do. I am just flabbergasted at how much research and digging these guys have done on these girls. It literally feels like they have dossiers on them. They know what makes them tick, what sets them off, how to press their buttons, and I don't get it. I mean, you spend all this time and energy hating on these 20 and 30-year-old girls when you could be using all that time and energy doing something with your life. Yuri's okay, just like, BL's okay, whatever you choose, it's your life. If you choose one thing, you choose one thing. If you choose another thing, you choose another thing. I like women. I like all the women that are up on the screen right now. I mean, they're all, they all feel like little sisters to me because, I mean, I really feel like, and I really want to be able to protect them all. I mean, that if I have my, I don't know if you want to call it fantasy or, my weakness or, my fulfillment of like, my role to play in this whole thing. Like, you have like Noelle and Flair, they're supposed to be a couple, right? You have, you have Callie as dad and Kiara as mom or whatever, me, I would want to be like the older brother to everyone. I mean, that's just the way I am. I wanted to be the older brother. I would be the one that would like, if Toa, kicks ass in Apex, I'd give her a head pat. If if Hachima came up to me and said, "Oni-chan, you want to have some of my soup?" and there's a tarantula in there, I'd be like, "Girl, get that thing away from me," and then of course, Marine comes up and goes, "I'm horny." I'm like, "Girl, you're my sister," I mean, I that would be like the thing I would want to do as like, if I had my role to play with them, but. Yeah, no, there's obsessed dudes, and that's where it all comes back to, is that covercore wants to stay complicit, and they want to feed that as much as possible, but keep it out of the danger zone. And at the same time, they allow public opinion to be swayed by the antis that are out there. And that's where they fail, is that they allow public opinion to be swayed by antis, because people look at the anti culture. And it's no different than how a terrorist group, controls the narrative by being an insurgent. And if they shed enough blood and they cause enough trouble for a country, that country, it's a battle of attrition. If they can tire out the support for that particular country, people just want it done and over with. That's all they care about at that point. So they don't have to win. They just have to keep the fight going until the other person gives up. And that's exactly where we fall. Is that the fan base just wants it to stop. They want it to go away. And they get enough people that are vocal enough to say, stop fighting with them, stop talking about them, stop talking to them, stop bringing up the thing, and they'll eventually go away. But what ends up happening is the talent ends up having to go away, either on hiatus or permanently, just so the problem goes away. And that's where we end up today. Is that the talent is either gone, or just like how Marin had to take time off because of the antis, and Hachima had to take time off because of the antis, and Callie had to take time off because of the antis. Noelle had to take an extended leave off because of her mental. She got so mentally burned out from the antis that she couldn't take it, so she had to take time off. I mean, people wonder where she disappeared off to for a while when she was gone for like a month. That's what happened. She got so mentally fatigued from the antis that she couldn't take it anymore. She wanted to quit. She wasn't even doing her alternate personality streams because she was too scared of the antis. Do I want to have a digital World War IV? Wait. What happened to World War III? I don't think World War III has happened yet, has it? I don't know about Corona. I think Corona. You know what? I would love to game with Corona. And the reason is because she loves all the retro games I grew up with. She's a retro gamer. She loves all the games that I used to play as a kid and growing up and stuff like that, I would love to game with her. That just spend a week. We wouldn't even have to talk to each other. Just spend a week gaming. We would look at each other and what game you want to play. Oh, you want to play that one? Okay, let's play that one. Okay, you pop it in. I mean, that's all we would have to do. I mean, is that they're in this game out together. That's all Oh yeah. Yeah. World War III is with Russia, and everyone's gonna think we're with Russia because we support Russia, and they'll get the message wrong and like, no, Russia, boing boing, Russia. Yeah. But I would you know what? I am very honestly impressed with Coroni and her skills, because she has cleared more games, retro games, now than I did as a kid growing up, and I still can't clear those games. Like, I give up when it comes to like Rockman. Rockman 1, I can only get so far. I die at the that one boss that like breaks apart, and then Rockman 2, I can never get past that dragon that you have to fight, and you're on the little three blocks. I always fall off the blocks. I can never get past it. Rockman 3, I can clear all the bosses, but then as soon as I start getting into into the end game stages, I die at the first stage. So just right there, I my hat goes off to her for just clearing all those games. I just watched her play some of those retro games, and it just blows my mind how good she is. If if I could ask Putin one question, I'd be like, "Yo, Putin, is Russia boing boing?" He just look at me. He like, eh? It's Russia boing boing. Yes. Battletoads. Oh man, Battletoads. I could never get past the surfboard level. Never. Ever. I could never get past it. I didn't even know about the warps until I was watching Game Center CX with our Ardino. I didn't even know about the warp points until I watched the episode where he was playing it. You know what? If Coroni did Metal Gear 1 and 2, I would be just like ecstatic, because I am, I have always been a Metal Gear fan. I played the ROMs, before they released them, legit. And, I played the original Metal Gear Solid so many times, I swear I wore out the disc. I still got Twin Snakes on my cube. I still got my cube. And of course I got 2, 3, I got Subsistence and Substance and Subsistence. I mean, I got all those. I got the documentary of Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 4, And of course 5. Yeah, I hate Konami though. Konami needs to like really get their priorities in order. I mean, after I saw the whole thing debacle about how they lost the source code to Silent Hill 2 and 3, I just kind of like I shook my head. I'm like, really? How can you lose source code like that? How can you lose it? You know? I mean, heck, I have my, back when I used to like quote unquote back up my anime, um, I mean, I still have that stuff like triple backed up just in case one of my drives breaks. I mean, that's just the way you do it. You triple back up the things that are important to you. Yeah, they lost their source code to they lost their original source code to Silent Hill 2 and 3. So when they went to do the HD remaster, they had outsourced the HD remaster to a secondary company, and the only thing they had to work with were alpha builds that were incomplete game code. So they literally had to rebuild the game from scratch. I mean, they basically developed the game again in a game engine that was like, over like 15 years old. Well, SquareSoft, I mean, SquareSoft had kind of a murky history to begin with. I mean, you had SquareSoft, and then you had Enix before they merged. So, I mean, they were kind of like not on their like last legs, but they were like getting close, and that's why the two companies merged. Before I forget, guys, I know that we've gone completely off the topic, but I think we've talked enough about the topic, and we've said all that needs to really be said about it. Before I forget, I will be streaming Ghostwire Tokyo on release day for PC. I do not have a PS5, so I can't, unfortunately I can't stream that. But I will be doing it for PC on release day, so I will watch out for that stream. Also, I was also contacted by our friends over on the other side of the pond, and they will be doing they are officially closing their petition on they will be closing. Let's see. They will be closing the petition on the 24th in 3 days. And then they will be campaigning for the rest of those 7 days, along with submitting the final count of the petition to cover. So that's going to be taking place here pretty soon. So we have there's 3 days. If there are people that haven't signed yet that want to sign that, you certainly can. I believe. Yes, I want to leave YouTube. I didn't say go back to YouTube. I said I want to leave YouTube. Yeah. So that link's been advertised by the Steam Labs bot here. It looks like they peaked out at 19,670. So I mean they got significantly farther than we did, and they're still having people filter in. So I mean it'd be nice to get to 20,000 for them. But even then, I mean they that's still a significant amount of numbers. So hopefully they'll be able to get more traction with it, since number one, they're in Asia, and number two, they have a significant amount more. Maybe they can get some traction on that, and get a response. I will be filing my fourth petition to them on let's see here. Tomorrow I got an appointment, and then I'll get back at 4, 5. So I will be. I should be able to submit my fourth request to them by Thursday. I'm going to try to do it in video form, but I want to at least script it out first. So if I can't complete the video, then I can at least have it written out so I could submit the petition to them, or submit my submit my petition to them along with the signatures. So we'll keep pushing that. I'm about 3/4 of the way through backing up having my personal backup of her channel for regular streams, and then after that it's just a matter of trying to get the rest of her membership streams downloaded. So those have been taking a lot longer because they were on a different server. When YouTube has their videos separated with membership streams and regular streams, they're on different servers for some reason, and one is significantly slower than the other when it comes to downloads, even though I'm downloading at 720. So that's taking some time, but I should be able to at least get through that as well. And I've been trying to screenshot as many of her posts as possible, so and download any of the pictures that she has put up, so those can at least be preserved. Even if she does not want to hear the name anymore, I know many of her fans do. So and once there's I know there's a couple of repositories out there right now, but I believe that there's going to be a one master one that's going to be built for everything. So once I find out what the link is to that, or if someone else gives it to me first, then I'll share it with everyone here. The other thing is that I'm just about ready to open up the Discord server. Basically, the only thing I have left to work on is trying to get the hooks correct, so I can pull in the posts that I want to pull in. What I want to do is I want to be able to pull in the daily schedules for all the streams for Hololive, and then maybe have like separate channels for like one for Hololive, and then one for each agency that people are interested in, so you can look at that and see what when their streaming person's streaming schedule is, or what they're streaming. I think I thought that would be a good idea, but even if I don't get that working at this point, I'll probably open it in the first week of April at the latest. Yeah, I have downloaded all of her songs. That was one of the first things I did, was download her songs. So I hope they do. I mean, I hope that they, at the last minute, they say, yeah, this is probably a bad idea. But even if they don't, if we have at least if we have a place that we can preserve her stuff, people can go to. I mean, it's something. It's better than nothing. But again, they're just proving my point that something needs to change with this stuff, because it's just not. This is not the way that you treat your talent, whether they're gone or not. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna make this a short stream tonight. Usually I go like 5, 6, 7, 20 hours. But tonight I do need to cut it short so I can. I do have a follow-up appointment tomorrow. They want to keep, they've been trying to keep an eye on me to make sure I completely recover from COVID, since I've had so many complications. So I gotta go in and get blood work done, and then they want to check me over physically and all that other fun stuff. So I need to get up early in the morning for that. Yeah, just keep an eye out for that stuff. If you see something that is starting to happen against one of our Hololive girls here, if you don't see me jump on it first, shoot me a message. I know that I've had a lot of messages sent to me. Some of them I apologize I didn't get back to, because I figured I'd probably get to them when I talk today. And if I didn't get back to you, please just let me know. I know that. Wait a minute. I think before I forget. Where are you? I know one of you guys sent me. Neko, was it Neko? I need to get in touch with Untamed. He sent me something. I never got back to him on that. Somebody sent me a link about reporting channels that have her her non-consent videos up. There was a channel that we're supposed to use to report to. Where'd it go? Oh. Yeah, I'll definitely try. Guys, keep an eye out. I'll either post it here on my channel in my community section, or I'll post it on Twitter. I know that there was talk about having kind of like a centralized read up of where trying to keep track of channels that were posting her stuff without permission on YouTube, and then so it can be systematically reported so they can be taken down. But I'll have to find the link for that. So yeah, once I find it, I'll post the link for you guys to use if you guys come across that stuff. So other than that, thank you guys very much for listening tonight. I hope that some of the stuff I mentioned was informational for you guys. I want you guys to just be vigilant and understand that these girls, work extremely hard, and I know you guys know this, but I want you guys to know that some of these girls are they may act happy and cheerful for us, but some of them are going, have or gone or are going through some really tough things, that they put up with. So, I say this every single time, guys, before I leave, before I log off. Just give these girls all your love, and you don't have to give them your money, but just give them your love, just, and just cheer them on, if nothing else, because, like I said, like I always say, guys, let's cheer on the talent. Let's encourage the talent. Let's try to protect the talent. And let's try to encourage a healthy place for them to entertain us, and then also feel comfortable with being there with their fan base. Because at the end of the day, they're doing all this stuff for us, and if we can at least show them that that we appreciate what they're doing and try to defend what they're doing, I think it helps them a lot more than anything else to know that there's people that back them up. Love and respect, guys. Exactly. Love and respect. And I really hope, that, if we can start here, and we start, with small communities like this, we can grow larger, so we can start telling people and showing people, hey, we want to protect these girls, and we want, we don't want to lose them to these guys. We want to protect them. We want them to be here, with us. So, all right, guys. Other than that, I will check in with you guys probably on Thursday. Hopefully I'll have some either a video to put up by then, or I'll do a stream then. I'm not sure yet, but I will try to have something on Thursday. And then, of course, Ghostwire Tokyo will be streaming here as soon as it becomes available. And hopefully, we'll be able to stream that and have some fun with that, and then see what the hype is all about. Hey, you know what? I used to hang with the guy that ran with that screen named Vash the Stampede. Well, he just ran by the name Vash, but yeah, I used to run with him on Final Fantasy, and he used to say that too. So yeah, exactly. Love and peace, guys. Love and peace. All right. So until then, this is Marko Yamashita signing off, guys. Peace.